When creating a joint between two components, the orientation and position of the two joint origins determines how they relate to one another. The orientation of the joint origin is controlled by the input geometry, which can be a face, an edge, or a point. Hovering over a face will cause the two-dimensional disk to coincide with that face. As I hover over different input faces, the disk will reorient and align to that face. This is critical to properly orient the joint origin. When using an edge as the input geometry, the disk will orient so that the edge itself is normal to the disk plane. Construction geometry can also be used, which you can see when I turn on this sketch and hover over the sketch point shown here. When choosing one of the snap points to place the joint origin, Fusion 360 generates different shapes for the snap points depending on their type. Vertices appear as dots, midpoints appear as triangles, the centers of circles and arcs appear as plus signs, and the centroid of a body appears as a square. In this example, the top cylindrical face of this crankshaft displays a number of different snap points. There are vertices at the ends of the circular edge, shown as circles. Triangles shown along the midpoints of the circular and straight edges. The circular center is shown as a plus sign, and right next to it is the centroid of the face, shown as a square. Here, I want to point out one particular situation when choosing a joint location, selecting points along the axis of a cylindrical face. Fusion 360 automatically generates snap points along this axis, at both endpoints and at the midpoint. This makes it extremely simple to center cylindrical geometry to one another. To make it even easier to select these points, you can lock the cylindrical face as the input geometry by holding down the Control key, or Command for Mac users, and any of these points can be selected even when they're located behind exterior geometry. This eliminates the need to rotate the model in order to select these points, which greatly speeds up creating joints using cylindrical faces. Whenever selecting a joint location on a component, keep in mind that it will snap to the other specified point on the other component. This makes it extremely important to choose the right location, taking advantage of the snap point symbols along the faces and edges of components.